The next 25 that they got set to go will not be started until they lease.
We did our very first bombed out apartment complex. It was completely vacant and the insides needed rehabbed. All of them need made ready. I mean, it was a big project. So we took down that project, and my thought process was I'll remodel the insides. We'll do the outsides once they're occupied because we need cash flow. We need people to move in.
So how many apartments we talking in the first place?
32. It's only 32
Okay, so it's 32 units, but you did them all.
We did them all.
Okay.
So we did them, and I learned this the hard way. The outside, if the outside's ugly, you'll never get somebody to look at the inside.
Yeah.
And we fought. I bet you it set us back a year and a half. We were like having it stabilized.
Yep.
Because now the outsides look good now, but now we finally got the quality tenant that we wanted at the beginning. That first lease up, we got tenants, but we didn't get quality tenants. And I can only accredit it to the apartments being ugly on the outside.
Yeah.
And so we had to turn a whole, I mean, I don't think we have an original tenant left.
So we had a project come up years back that was $17 million in CapEx remodeling on a giant twofer. So you would have 250 units on this side, 250 on this side, but they bought it in one package. So it's a giant 500 unit apartment complex. Well, their CapEx expenditures project on that thing was $17 million. Half of it was inside, but less than half of it was on the outside. Most of it was on the inside. But they started on the outside remodeling. Okay. And they put on the new, they got rid of all the broken, dilapidated, fallen off trim that is the first thing that falls off because it's just a 1x2 or a 1x4 or 1x6. They fixed the fascia boards. They fixed the squirrel holes and the raccoon holes. And then you know, I don't remember if they did the roof, but that would be a thing that they pretty up. And then you put a fresh coat of paint. Painting's not that expensive. You just have to, and painters, and the way we price things is by per door and how tall of a paint I got to do. I got to do a 3-story paint, and I got to do 150 units. I can sit there I can have you a number in 10 minutes because I pretty much know my numbers. Once the painting's done, and while they're getting in that latter part of the phase, the big dogs, these are the guys who are stock, they've managed 30,000 doors. They're the big property management groups. They have a set amount of units that they'll upgrade.
Okay. And
then they have that set to do the next amount. And let's just say that it's 25 of them, right? That's not half of the 500, right? They got 25. And they want them delivered in 6 weeks. The next 25 that they got set to go will not be started until they lease, or they see that the leases are going to take. Because okay, so for instance, I'm going to give you, let's just say that per apartment, they're going to remodel an apartment for $10,000. They got to put in new appliances, new carpet. They got to move a wall because it's 1970s architecture and nobody wants the certain type of blah, blah, blah that's in their living room, right? So they spend 10 grand on remodeling that apartment. Well, they do 25 of those, it's $250,000. And they want to recover that, so they raise their rents. And they think that because the next door neighbor's getting $1,150 per 2-bedroom, that they're going to get $1,150. But what they don't realize is the people aren't moving in their place because they don't have a pool. Next door has a pool. Right. Whatever that science is, they can't seem to get the $1,150. So by the time they get to the second round of 25 units, they decide, well, we're not doing $10,000 in repairs. We're going to leave the granite on, the old granite on. We're going to replace the granite, and we're going to do an $8,000 remodel. These are all adjustments that the big dogs are making.
We do the same thing because I mean, when you improve the outside or the inside, you got to prove rents.
You got to get the leasing up because the leasing is what pays the bills.
Right.